Hi, hello everybody.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're going to wait for a couple of minutes before we start, and then we take it from there. I'm going to start by thanking each and every one of you for being with us today. Good evening, good afternoon. For those who don't know me, my name is Tshireen, and I'm the director of the Atassi Foundation. A few years ago, we came up with this crazy idea. We were told it was a crazy idea, but we still did it. And the idea was to preserve and publish archives about Syrian art and artists. And that became like a life mission for me. We truly believe deeply in the idea and its importance and significance in the long term, not necessarily in the short term. So we went ahead and we created a platform called Modern Art of Syria Archive, which is an open access platform that is free for everyone to explore and to use. And today, MASA includes more than 3,800 records and hundreds of books. And it is growing exponentially as we speak. To make these archives come alive, we decided to launch something called MASA Talks, which is a monthly series of webinars where we dive into conversations inspired by archives and stories that these archives contain. So today's session focuses on a very special theme, and that is inheriting an archive. And we're happy to have Michel Zayat talk to us about the archive of his father, the late Elias Zayat, to one of Syria's most iconic artists. And to me personally, I would say someone who truly embodies what it means to be Syrian. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Mathilde, the curator of MASA Talks, art historian and researcher, and of course to Michel Zayat, the son of Elias Zayat and an architect. I'd like to just draw your attention that this session is being recorded. And for the interest of making sure that this is a live document, it is going to be uploaded on YouTube for future reference if anyone needs to. So without further ado, over to you, Mathilde.
Thank you very much, Tshireen, for this introduction. I'm happy to be here, and I also wanted to thank you, Michel, for accept this invitation and to be part of this MASA project and to inaugurate the first session under the thematic Inheriting an Archive, in which we will invite artists, family, and estates to discuss about their archival project. Today, we wanted to have a conversation with you, Michel Zayat, the son of the great Syrian artist Elias Zayat, who passed away 3 years ago. This conversation will be with Michel in two perspectives. Michel personal one, as is the son as custodian of Elias Zayat legacy, and mine as an art historian. Together, we will retrace Elias Zayat's multifaceted journey as an artist, but also as a student, as a teacher, as a restorer, and as a curator. But we will see that he has a lot of more faces. For this, we've selected a series of photographs that Michel shared, along with archival material from MASA, because as Michel will tell us, Elias Zayat's archive documentation is in the beginning of the process. So in the second part of our conversation, we will discuss about Elias Zayat's legacy and the ongoing work that the Elias Zayat estate will be doing, including upcoming projects and archival initiative. So thank you so much, Michel, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, Mathilde. We talked so many times about this. And thank you. I thank the Atassi Foundation who is organizing this MASA Talks. that are shedding the light on a very, very important, very interesting subject, which is archiving, which is it's a world that I'm getting introduced to through the archives of Elias Zayat, my father. It's a big responsibility. I'm only a witness. I'm a man with a big responsibility. I feel it, and here we go.
Okay, so maybe Michel, we could start this conversation with some images that you send us that are the beginning of your father's childhood. Maybe you can just tell us where was he born, how did he grow up?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, the word Damascus explains a lot. This city, Damascus is the multi layers of that city. Okay, we hear it all the time. The oldest inhabited capital in the world, the layers of history. It is that city that shaped the man, Elias Zayat, in fact. And it's in Damascus where the cradle of civilization, we hear it all the time, and this is where the poetics of his shaped. I mean, the city shaped the man, Elias Zayat, and basically the stories of that city shaped his artwork and which we see today present. And Elias Zayat was a man of many dimensions, like his city. He was born in a conservative family, yes, yet it was for its time very contemporary. To be an artist in that time, to go and study art was not something that everybody approved, you know. Uh, People had to be doctors or engineers or in that milieu, but to go and study art and with a family support, that was actually a big event. And he was a contemporary man until the last day of his life.
You were mentioning that when he was studying, he would start draw and also sign his drawing since high school, and you were saying
Yes,
it was
true. Archiving now, when I looked, found ourselves in between all the documents and papers he left. Actually, he was an organized person because, I found um, even even his drawings at school when he was 14 and 15 years old, signed and dated. He was born in 35, and we have little sketches signed 46. So 11 years old, um, with a different signature than his signature that we see on his work. But that was the case. So he started archiving before us, apparently.
actually he started to draw in high school, and then he learned with the painter Michel Curchet.
Yes, he always told stories about him going with Michel Curchet, who was a friend of the family, also, to his country house in Blue Dan, which is in the mountain, and to draw and using like the oil paint. And um, we can find sketches from these years too.
And then he had a grant to go to study in Sofia.
Then actually he found a job at a bank because his uncle he was working at the Central Bank of Syria at the time, but that was mid 50s, 56. And then there was this competition. It was a dialogue between the governments, Syrian government back then, and other universities abroad. And he got the scholarship to go to Bulgaria, to Sofia, to study at the Academy of Sofia, which he told many stories about. And then later on in 60, in the between 60 and 61, there was some political issues between it was some political events led to change the program from Sofia to Cairo. So he moved to Cairo, 61, 62 he graduated, and so he graduated from Cairo after Sofia. And these what we see now is are sketches for his graduation project, which is a one large canvas above 2 meters by 2 meters. And there are, I mean, this is the work. This is all dated 61 and 62.
Yes, what
And
I
then
read
he,
in the
yes, he returned to Damascus to the Faculty of Fine Arts, where he met his best friends. He talked about them all his life. Mahmoud Hamad, Nasir Shura, who I remember I personally used to go with him to the old faculty, oldest. It was in a regular building in the middle of the city. And we used to go in between. I mean, I was a kid. In between students, there were like maybe 30 students at the time in every year of the faculty. And their room was Elias Zayat, Nasir Shura, Nazir Nab'a, Mahmoud Hamad was the boss, was in another office, and they used to sit, tell jokes, and smoke a lot, and talk about everything. And they were like a family, because I remember also in the evenings they visited each other. That was the ambiance, and that was the milieu in those years, 60s and 70s.
Yes, we will show some documents about his life as a teacher.
Yeah.
Maybe first we should talk about him as an artist. And I read in the book Cities and Legend, edited by Salwa Migdadi, that she noted that at the academia in Sofia, students were divided between followers of social realism and those who defended subjectivity in art. And Elias Zayat was part of the latter, who defended subjectivity in art. We can say that his work explores universal themes like human, animal, divine forms with architecture and ruins, civilization, and there is no border. Could you maybe tell us more about his subject matters and techniques that he's using?
Elias Zayat was a man of many dimensions. He was an artist, known as an artist. He was a professor. He was a technician. He was a restorer, etc., etc. Many, etc., etc. I'm saying because he was really a man of many multiple layers. Uh, uh, he, I mean, technically, he also was a technician. One of the things he focused on is the techniques in his artwork, and he talked about the ability of using oil paint with acrylic and acrylic with oil paint together, and he published a book actually that is he didn't publish it, the University of Damascus published it, the book of technique of painting, it's called. I want to go back to the book which you mentioned, Mathilde. No, we can talk about the book later, I
We will
guess.
do it. We'll do it later. Don't
Yeah.
spoil.
Uh,
Maybe here we just did a small selection of some exhibition catalogs in which we can see that these techniques, even if it's in black and white, but there is in MASA a few catalogs in which we can find Elias Zayat's work and this way of representing civilization and in many layers. We selected a few ones also to show that Elias Zayat was exhibiting in Damascus, but also he was exhibiting in different places at the Spanish Cultural Center, but also in Algeria. He was also exhibiting in a touring exhibition which went to Baghdad, Sofia, Berlin, Moscow. Actually, his work was shown on a lot of exhibitions. So if you are interested in MASA, there is a lot of catalogs in which you can find some artworks that are unedited. And we wanted also to say that he was also part of the Damascus group and the group 10. And actually he was an artist, but he was also syncing arts with other artists. And Michel, I don't know if you have something to say about these groups.
This group of the group of 10, the 10 group, he often talked about it, not much, because I think he was he used to say that it was stopped for some political internal Syrian reasons. He was more influenced by, he was more attracted to think and work. He was more of an Arabist actually than focus on the Arab cause. That was a part of his work. It was represented in a lot of his work in the late 60s and early 70s, mostly about the Arab cause more than what was happening inside Syria in the country. So he was not following up on politics internally. He was more into like a more of a universal,
Yes,
universal
perspective.
thinking. Yes.
Yes, actually, I selected this this artwork, which was shown in the 87 in Beirut, which is called, I think, the Portrait Family. And here we can see like he was touched by also the war and the cause of Lebanon at this moment.
Yeah, that was big. That he told many stories about that, more than what was happening in the country. He kind of avoided that for some reason.
Mm-mm.
I think automatically.
Yes. Actually, you mentioned it. You mentioned it just before, but he was also a teacher. The Faculty of Fine Art in Damascus were established in the beginning of the 60s, and Elias Zayat became an assistant professor in 62, later a full professor in the 80. And this role allowed him, you were saying, to build a family with other artists. You were mentioning Nasir Shura, Mahmoud Hamad. Today we have
Yes.
the chance to have one of these teachers with us, which is Pierre Gauthier. Also, he was participating in exhibitions. For example, this was an exhibition of the professor of the Faculty of Fine Art. It was really a community of teachers, and he was really part of this community as a family. You were saying.
Actually, very very true, and you can see like now in this picture you can see like the window behind them. It's basically a regular window from any Damascus apartment. This is more of a family. You see, even their face expression is taking in a moment where it's like very familiar. And this is Nasir Shora on the side.
Yes, this is Nashora Mahmoud Hamad. Also, we can see, for example, in some archive on MASA that they were really friends, sending them postcards. We selected this one because it's a postcard sent from Zayat to Mahmoud Hamad, which is actually part of the Mahmoud Hamad archive in MASA, in which you can see that he sends a postcard from Vasily Kandinsky, and it's nice to see the interaction artists could have at this moment in the mid-60s. Actually, we were saying that also one of the places in which Zayat was working was the studio. Here you have a picture of the studio. Maybe you want to comment it.
Yeah, this is his studio all his life, mostly until the mid 2000s actually. And you can see it was in a basement with high windows. This room, I remember this room was always filled with books and dust and people smoking and talking about art. And I guess this is Mr. Gautier in the middle. And well, that's the studio. You see the amount of books and cigarettes.
Yes, today we have the chance to have with us. Maybe we will talk with him after the conversation with Pierre Gauthier, which is actually like one of the last witness of this period at the university in Damascus, and we have the chance to have him today in the conversation. Also, Zayat was an artist, but he also was a restorer. He went to train for restoration in Budapest. There is a sentence and a touching scene in Hala Abdallah's film, I'm the one who brings flower to her grave, which is super touching because we see him restoring a 17th century icon, and he says to Allah, I don't want to restore icons anymore. I want to restore my old painting. What does the archive tell about his restoration practice?
In fact, what I had in mind to share with you is the fact that Elias Zayat was, because what we found are things related to his art, documents related to his teaching methods, to techniques, whereas his book was published by and taught by him at first, and still in the teaching, still teaching it at the Faculty of Fine Arts, his technique books. And there is another part also, another extra layer of his archives about icons he restored. He was a restorer, and he had every icon, also paintings actually he restored. But in what concerns icons, he has the before and after, all documented, sometimes with notes, sometimes without notes. They were put in envelopes here and there, everywhere, and everywhere in the studio. So in reality, it's not an easy job because it's so varied, and he was many things. He was an artist, historian, a poet. He has some writings in مجلة فكر. He has a great article about al-ibda', creativity. He published many articles. He also wrote poems. Actually, we have a little booklet with his handwriting with poets, and most of it about Palmyra. Palmyra is mentioned in almost every page. So for a man who could imagine Palmyra in the way he imagined it, etc., he was many things. But like one thing, I keep repeating this, one thing he was not afraid of change and of trying new realms. He went into many realms, and you could see it in the archives. We didn't digitize everything yet, and we're still in the beginnings, but it will be a long process. We're trying to squeeze it as much as we can to share with the world, to share with others that archives. It's not ordinary, actually. I think the results will show that it's not ordinary. I think.
Yes, and actually it was also you're doing this enumeration, but he was also a
He was also
curator.
a curator, yes.
And for example, he would help some students to build exhibition or write texts. And here there is a catalog of Leila Ansari exhibition in 72, in which we see that he wrote the exhibition text. Also, in the 2008, he was one of the organizers of the exhibition Revival of Plastic Art Memory in Syria in the National Museum of Damascus. It was a big exhibition of the collection from the Damascus Museum collection. And actually in these pictures, we can see him in front of one of his paintings. You told me an anecdote about this picture, which is actually a family picture.
It's a family picture where you can see Elias Zayat, and next to him is my mother, his wife, and behind them there is a portrait of the lady who is standing next to my mother, who is my aunt, his sister. And by accident, her name is Mathilde. We don't know what's happening today with Mathilde and Mathilde. So this is Mathilde, his sister, whose portrait is in the background. Yeah, and this picture is in 2008, and the portrait is from 61, I think.
It's so yes, and we realized this preparing this conversation. In the preface, actually, of the catalog of this exhibition at the Damascus Museum, Elias Zayat writes that the collection is really in a bad condition, and they did really an important work to restore the artwork and to prepare the exhibition. Actually, I think he was participating in the archival process also of the Damascus modern art collection.
Yes, he
At the
participated
same,
in restoring some of the artworks that were exhibited here, actually.
yes,
Sorry to cut
true.
you. Yes.
No, don't worry.
Mm.
At the same moment, you were starting to work to prepare the
Yes.
book with Salwa Migdadi
Yeah.
and Skira.
2008 was the year when we started to collect images of artworks we don't have, and to and to collect, actually, to put together the images of the art that he did, and not, he doesn't have the physical art he didn't have the physical art anymore, and also to archive what we still have in terms of artwork. So 2008 we started, and this was the beginning of the process that led to publishing the book, to work with Salwa Miqdadi. I was her favorite assistant, we always said. Um, that and we launched the book in 2017 at Art Dubai, and I'm very happy and very honored and glad that it was done in his presence, and he witnessed that moment of launching that book. That is actually not a catalogue raisonné per se, but it's the cornerstone of the artwork, the work of Elias Zayat. It's a very nice book. It's a beautiful book, fantastic book, seriously. Plus, the content and the book. Before that, actually, as a start, we had some catalogs for some exhibitions with some stories and text. Actually, I still have a few copies. This is like 2009 exhibition, and I always try to make a nice catalog. So this is where we started. When Okay, he paved the way for us by organizing his sketches, by organizing his paper. One thing I must share also with you, that to make it difficult on us, I also found that he kept all family pictures and all documents and all letters related to his family. So what I have today is the archives of maybe 3 generations, his own, and before him he kept everything, images of his family, from my grandfather's childhood. We have pictures, not related to the art of Elias Zayat, but big quantity made the job very difficult to actually gather everything in one place. So we had to move things from three locations to one location. That was all done last year. So again, 2008 we started, led to the book, and we continue. It's a bit slow, but we continue.
So maybe you can present now a bit the project of the Elias Zayat estate, and
Yes.
and maybe to tell us what the next step for the archival project.
Yeah. Well, my father passed away 3 years ago. This past year was a pivotal year for us because we were able to gather things together. We have a project going on with the Atassi Foundation for digitizing whatever is worthy of sharing that we have, whatever materials. And I realized last year that it's not a job that I can do alone, for sure. I needed a strategy to be able to gather together. I mean, the art part, the archive part, the iconography part that he did. We have a lot of scattered things. So I needed a strategy. I reached out for my childhood friend also, Hala Khayyat, who has been very helpful for me in making a strategy, actually. and still ongoing. What we aim for is I reactivated our social media handle at elias.zayat.art. Please follow us. That on this, it's a bit slow, but on this we will be sharing also the process. I'm thinking of kicking off sharing the process of archiving on this social media window. Our aim is to actually have a board, legalize the estate in a good form. That's it basically. We would I'm honored to have this window to, again, I'm only a witness, I'm only a viewer. I'm honored to be able to share this rich data with the others, with the generations who do not know Elias Zayat and his surroundings and his world. He's somebody who imagined the Roman Syrian gods dancing around Palmyra, and he depicted it in his later paintings in the 2000, after 2010. He reached that, you know. He was even telling stories about it. So it's really amazing. He was an amazing person. He produced amazing work, and I'm honored to share that data and whatever we have with the rest of the world. I think it will be very interesting.
Yes, we can't wait to do this with you, Michel. Maybe one last question. Do you have an advice that would you give to families of artists?
Well, the art world, the artist is composed of many, again, layers. Everything is in layers today. The artist himself, the work of art, where it goes, I mean, it stays on the artist's wall, or it goes to some collector, or it goes to a museum, and all the stories related to it, and how people see it, and all the critique around it, etc. This all has to be documented. I wish I started a long time ago. Seriously, I wish I started a long time ago to understand what I have. It would have been nicer to do it with him, to do a bigger part with him. We did a big part with him of organizing, putting together what we have, but we did not analyze it with him. I think analyzing it with him would have been a great thing to do. But no, this is a fact of life. And this archiving and storytelling, it shapes the future by preserving the present and honoring the past. So I mean, I just want to say that I really wish I started this earlier. So the earlier, the better. The more, the merrier.
Well, thank you very much, Michel. Maybe just we mentioned last time, and we wanted to show an extract of it. We wanted to show that Elias Zayat wrote a text published in the catalog of contemporary art, Syrian contemporary art, published by Atassi in 98. And in this text, we can see a part of his poetry writings, and also a great analysis of the visual studies in Syria. And we wanted to show an extract of it. Michel, thank you so much for sharing with us the journey of starting to work on Elias Zayat archive. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure, and I mean, we can talk for many episodes about Elias Zayat and others. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're super happy to do this. Maybe we can now open to some questions.
Yeah,
to the
can I quickly
audience,
just say something?
please.
Before we open to questions, and I'm very keen on having a discussion around all of this. One of the reasons why I wanted to start building this archive is for my generation, but also for my children's generation, to really consider what it means to be from that land that produced people like Elias Zayat, who worked his entire lifetime exploring themes that we never got to know about. So Palmyra, the ancient civilizations, the iconology, and also they in their respects, like whether it's Mahmoud Hamad or Elias Zayat, their generation had such a profound impact on future generations whom they taught and even whom they mentored and even those who they just befriended. And each one of them, this generation, had this uniqueness about them that can be represented in individual personalities, but also in their more public personalities. And I think the purpose of what we're doing in the archives, even though we have not published the archive of Elias Zayat yet, is to actually really highlight their personal, their public, their teaching, their art. And really, they were well-rounded people. And the purpose, again, is to show a well-rounded picture of all of them. So thank you, Michel. And with that,
Thank you.
I would like to open up the floor to questions. I have a lot, actually. I've written a lot, but I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm going to give the others the chance to say a word or two. So please.
Maybe I can stop sharing so we can see each other to make it more conversation.
Sorry, Mathilde, I think Monsieur Gauthier is here. Can you show him his picture?
Okay, so I share again.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Okay. 1 minute.
Sorry, I should have said it a bit earlier, but I just noticed. But in the meantime, if anyone has a question, we can do two things at a time. Multitask.
I have a question, but I'm not able to find the hand to raise.
It's
Please go.
open floor. It's an open floor.
Michel, I have two questions. You just said, I wish we started this earlier with him, your late father, and you mentioned the word analyze. What do you mean, and what do you mean? What was there or what is today to be analyzed that you would have preferred to do it in his presence? And secondly, an information questions. You mentioned his writing on aesthetic writings like Ibda'. Have writings been collected? Are they many? So these are my two questions.
Yes. Analyze, I meant to find the base of his personal archives in his opinion, to understand it from his point of view. Because when you live with an artist, I think my mother can say more than me about this, you face the changing of opinions sometimes, because, you know, in some occasions he would say something, and about the same issue he will say he will explain it in a different way, which will be the same opinion, but he will explain it in a different way in another time. And this over like many tens of years. Then, you know, I looked at some posters of exhibitions, you know, some exhibition posters that I found. And maybe, I mean, I understood something. I mean, there is Elias Zayat, Nasir Shura, Fateh Mudarris. You know, I think maybe in the years 2000, he would maybe not exhibit with or maybe exhibit with, or, you know, to understand that link better from him. That was what I meant by analyze. Analyzing, you know, understand more what he wanted to, by leaving all these data behind. I mean, there are things he destroyed, I'm sure. For sure. I mean, you cannot keep everything. So, like this, I meant by analyzing. Yeah. And
about
his writings, I have most of it, not put together yet. Still discovering this article about Ibda. I didn't have it. It was one of his friends, Talal Aqili, who actually we did when it was 1 year of his memorial of his passing. 1 year, I approached the Faculty of Fine Arts in Damascus and the Syrian and the Damascus University to do something related to Elias Zayat, because they did nothing. It was not the time of doing anything for them. So I approached them, and they said I went with the late artist also Butayna Ali. I went with her to the Faculty of Fine Art to test the waters. And they said, we don't have any money, we cannot do anything. I said, just give us the location. So, and I chose the location to be the Rida Said Conference Center, which was a very nice location. It's a very nice hall, big hall inside the Damascus University. And we did this. It was an amazing. It's an amazing venue, and we did an amazing slideshow. And Muna Atassi sent 10 minutes video. She was talking about him, and Talal Akhili was with us on that round table, and he brought the book with him, and he read the article. And this is how. So some things happened by accident also. Then 1 year later, I found that fikr. I found it in the library, and I looked, because I took a note. I looked for it, and I found it. So most of it we need to trace few things also. Still.
I have a question. Hello, everyone. Actually, it's not a question. First, I would like to thank Tshireen, Mathilde, and Michel, of course, for this great session. It brought back many, many, many good memories to yani, after so long. And I'm grateful that you are working on documenting and archiving the oeuvre of your father, the great Zayat. Yani, it's an honor to be able to see all the works, all the physical, or I mean yani everything in his archive. Yani, it's worth it, and I think that this would be archiving of the works, the artwork of these artists from the same generation, let's say. This will bring all, and it's like a puzzle that you might have the missing part of mine, and I might have the missing part of your puzzle. So this will make the history of modern art in Syria completed and more clear, instead of these yani what we already, yani, as I saw already in the books of art of history of art, it's all like copy and paste. Yani now we can see more details, more new stories, let's say. Thank you, Michel, and thank you all for this great session. And finally, I would like to je voudrais saluer Monsieur Pierre Gauthier. Je suis la fille de Mahmoud Hamad. Je ne sais pas que si vous... on s'est rencontrés plusieurs fois, mais c'était...
Tout à fait. C'était très ami avec ton père.
Oui,
aussi.
Je sais bien, oui, je sais.
Voilà.
J'ai quelques photos de vous avec mon père, des
Oui,
lettres aussi,
oui.
des postcards avec des petits dessins sur la carte.
Ah oui, oui,
Oui.
exactement.
Lubna,
D'accord, ok. Oui, oui, oui.
c'est grâce à Lubna que j'ai rencontré Pierre. It's thanks to Lubna that I met Pierre, because there is a great picture of the graduation in which we can see Mahmoud Hamad and actually Pierre. And I wrote to Pierre
Mm.
and I met Pierre thanks to Lubna. J'ai rencontré Pierre grâce à une photo que Lubna avait publiée dans un article publié dans le journal de la Fondation Atassi.
Mhm.
So I like the idea when you were saying it was a puzzle. J'aime bien l'idée que c'est un peu comme un puzzle. Et MASA is a part of this puzzle, and we are like putting pieces together.
Yeah.
Lubna,
Yes.
Can I
do you
add also
remember
one
our?
thing to what you said, Lubna? I
Oh,
think it's you were the pioneer to start with. But also, other than that, the beauty of MASA or the archives is we're taking bits and pieces, those puzzle pieces. But the beauty of the archive is we're not only digitizing and publishing, we are creating relationships between the different documents. And this is what enabled us to pull so many material from the Mahmoud Hamad archives on Elias Zayat and vice versa. And this
Yeah.
the strength. I mean, you could be working on the estate, you could be working on the collection of the arts and what have you, but only the archive itself, when it's presented with relationships, only that is capable of putting these puzzles together. Otherwise, they're fragmented pieces, as you said.
Yeah.
Sit in our drawers and what have you. I found a lot from Mahmoud Hamad. You saw from the presentation, a lot came from the Mahmoud Hamad archive, a lot came from the Atassi Gallery archive. And this is the beauty of it. We're trying to repaint that time of, I don't know what to call it, that time, that golden time
Yeah.
that really produced us
Indeed.
a few generations later. We're trying to create that time together. So
I feel part maybe not of the future generation, but of the after generation. And for me, it's super important to have like all this documentation and to learn about this land, as Shirin was saying. I think Nikita is wanting to ask a question. I will stop sharing because we saw the picture and we will see each other.
Good evening. I'm sorry I'm not
Hi.
using my camera because I'm driving. First of all, I wanted to thank Michel and you for wonderful insights into the life and archiving of Elias Zayat's work. I'm truly privileged to have met Maestro Elias Zayat and to know Michel. And I wanted to ask about the cultural impact of Elias Zayat's work. Are there any plans on expanding the knowledge about this wonderful artist outside of the world of this region and probably Europe, so that other cultures and other civilizations could find out about the artist?
yeah, that would be another task to attend to. I'm planning a trip to. I mean, just maybe I can answer you by telling you that I'm planning a trip to Sofia to trace some of the people he knew, that I have their phone numbers from his little book of phone numbers. I reached out. I have a friend who recently moved to Sofia, and basically his partner is an artist, and she is tracing some people for me, because apparently the number have changed, all of them. And I'm planning a trip. I was gonna go in November to Sofia to start my journey, but it will be January or Feb. Cold, yes, but we have the gear for it. So yes, I think to take this subject out of its Syrian envelope would be a challenge and would be something that I'm very much interested in. It's a dream, and it's a project by itself. It starts here, then continues.
I'm really sorry. After every question, I find myself wanting to speak. I'm sorry. But I want to also add something else to everyone. I think the importance of what Michel is doing is also he's presenting the material for us to really understand and to create the narrative around Elias Zayat away from, I want to say Western narratives, but yeah, but not in a bad way, but really we need to create the narrative for us to understand, and that will help him in, I think, with my experience, that will help him position internationally or in Europe or elsewhere. Creating that narrative is actually becomes it's a way of empowering himself to create that narrative. Him and the like Michel and the people who are going to be working on the archive and who are going to be using the archive for research and etc. etc. We will be able to create the narrative that is befitting of Elias Zayat as a figure. Any other?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Dan.
Yes.
Hi, this is Dana. I'm joining from Doha, Qatar. And I'm sorry, I'm driving, but I wanted absolutely to join this conversation. So I just want to add by thanking first Atassi Foundation for such a great initiative. And thank you, Mathilde, and also Michel for such an amazing conversation. I just want to say that I'm a bit emotional when I hear this, but I just want to say that our generation, referring to myself, Tshireen, and Michel, we had the great chance of living and be part of this art movement, let's say, or to be able to meet these great masters or at least some of them, and hear from the other great art masters, like from the Syrian art, contemporary art, from our parents. And I just want to say that this is an amazing project to continue or to have a mission for the next generation, like our children, to get to know this art, let's say, masters. So thank you again, and starting from being part of hearing from you, Michel, sharing amazing insights on your father as an artist, and I look forward to hearing and hopefully getting from you, Tshireen, more and more talks like this. So thank you again.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana. Maybe if there is not more question, I would like to ask something to Pierre. Peut-être s'il y a plus d'autres questions, j'aimerais peut-être demander à Pierre une question.
Oui, je vais parler.
Pierre, merci d'être avec nous.
Oui.
Il est vrai que quand on s'est rencontrés la dernière fois, vous avez aussi beaucoup de catalogues, d'expositions, des années où vous avez enseigné aux Beaux-Arts de Damas. Donc rappelons ici que Pierre Gauthier a enseigné, vous allez nous rappeler les dates, mais à la fin des années 60, au début des années 70, à l'université, à la faculté des Beaux-Arts de Damas. Am I speaking French? No, yes. So Pierre was actually teaching at the Faculty of Fine Art in Damascus at the end of the 60s and the beginning of the 70s. And he is actually a live memory of this period. Vous êtes une mémoire vivante de cette période. À quelle époque avez-vous enseigné, et peut-être est-ce que vous voulez partager avec nous quelques souvenirs de cette période? Do you want to share some memories of this period? En français, je peux traduire, or in English, or if you prefer.
En français, c'est mieux. Oui, c'est bien en français. Je suis très, très heureux de rencontrer Michel après 52 ans. La dernière fois que je l'avais vu, il avait un an, comme ma fille d'ailleurs. Ils sont nés en même temps, à peu près à Damas. Et je suis très heureux de le voir. Son père était vraiment mon meilleur ami. et quand j'étais très, très triste quand je l'ai perdu. On parlait souvent, de temps en temps, on parlait par téléphone et on évoquait les jours anciens et les jours heureux. Et, et on parlait de la peinture et de nos expériences en la matière. Et puis on, il me parlait d'ailleurs de ses projets et il était en train, si je ne me trompe, d'écrire un livre sur les icônes melkites.
Oui, c'est vrai.
Il m'en parlait. Et puis après, je suppose que le travail a été interrompu. Mais maintenant, qu'en est-il de son travail sur les icônes, de ton
Okay,
travail?
maybe let me just translate that.
Oui,
Pierre is saying that he's super happy to be here and to meet again Michel, because last time he saw Michel was 1 year, 1 year old. So it's been we won't say your age, but it's been a long time. And
Older
that Michel and Marina, which is the daughter of Pierre, are the same age. So Pierre was saying that really Elias Zayat was one of his best friend, and that since Pierre is living in France, they would call each other and they would talk about the old days, but also about painting, about their projects. And lately, Elias was speaking about a project of a book about Melkite icon, and so Pierre was asking Michel about this project.
I will answer in English. Yes, in fact, we have the manuscript of a book about the Syrian icon. He called it Al-Icona Suriya. And the manuscript is I think ready to be published. It's backed by it's his writing, his text about the Syrian icon with examples. He didn't have the time to put the images together for this book, which I think this needs somebody, a professional, to continue working on this book to make it a final book. And I've read it. All the data is backed by many events he organized with the Syrian University, with the Damascus University, and outside of Damascus University about the Syrian icon, which was one subject he was very much interested in. Yes, he did it. He did it. There is a book not ready, but from his part, it's done. I have a manuscript. Yes.
I think je pense que Marina a fait la traduction. If there is an editor here to publish the book.
J'entends pas très bien.
Ah, j'ai dit que s'il y avait un éditeur dans la salle, dit s'il y avait un éditeur dans la salle pour publier le livre.
Ah, oui.
Oui, malheureusement, on ne connaît pas.
Et puis, voilà, moi j'ai des problèmes un peu sourds. Je suis un peu sourd.
Ok.
Alors c'est difficile.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup, Pierre.
Et puis, j'embrasse Loubna. J'embrasse Loubna en souvenir de ces temps où on était toujours ensemble avec son père, Atassi et puis Elias Zayat, évidemment, et tous. Alors, ça m'émeut beaucoup. Je suis très ému. Bon, et puis,
il a toujours parlé de vous, en fait.
De m'avoir communiqué tout ça. Voilà.
Pardon, peux-tu répéter, s'il te plaît, Michel?
Il a toujours parlé de Monsieur Gauthier.
Oui, ah, d'accord. Bon, écoute, ça fait vraiment beaucoup de plaisir de te voir. J'espère que tu viendras nous voir à Toulouse. Et Loubna, quand tu viendras en France, tu viendras nous voir à Toulouse. Hein? D'accord? Bon, et vous aussi, c'est valable pour tous. C'est valable pour tous. Hein? Vous serez les bienvenus toujours à la maison. Hein?
And
voilà.
So Pierre is inviting all of us to his house, and I have to say that Pierre has a great collection of some catalogs that actually we will digitize to be able to publish it on MASA, because he documented really well the beginning of the 70s when he was a teacher at the university. And so we are completing the puzzle because he has catalogs that, for example, are not part of Hamad's archive. He has quite a lot of catalogs, so we will complete the puzzle thanks to him too. And thanks to the help of Marina, because Marina is doing the quite same job as Lubna and Michel, and we are also super thankful to you all, to like the families of artists to help us to do this work.
I must say that there is also my sister with us, who is my older sister. I think she's here, and she would be very happy to. She knows all the stories of Monsieur Gauthier.
Alors, on t'attend, hein, quand tu...
Merci.
On t'attend ici. Alors, merci à tous de m'avoir fait part de tout ça, de toutes vos expériences. Et puis, sur d'Elias, évidemment, qui est vraiment, il y a des choses tellement belles. C'est dans l'art d'Elias. Moi, j'ai toujours tellement aimé ce qu'il fait et ce qu'il faisait. Voilà. Ça fait quelque chose c'est émouvant de retrouver tout ça. Voilà. Et de te retrouver. Voilà.
Et merci Mathilde. Thank you so much, Mathilde.
Oui.
And for this organization of this video. And it's very important to my father and for me too. And well, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, I have to thank you too. I have to thank you too. I mean, this is, I mean, I always say, whatever we're doing, we're incapable of doing it alone without the support of people like Lubna, Suzanne, Michel, Mathilde, and the entire team and everyone who's on the call. It is pretty much impossible for us to do anything. So, so I want to thank everyone, and I hope everyone is finding it fun and informative to join us on these calls.
Thank you, Tshireen.
Merci.
Thank you, Mathilde.
Thank you.
شكرا.
شكرا.
شكرا كثير.
Thank you.
Je suis très content de t'avoir revu.
Nous aussi, we will meet again soon. On va se revoir bientôt. Peut-être, maybe just, sorry, I'm mixing my languages. I don't know if there is one more question or if we...
I have one more question.
Okay, please.
I want to ask about Zayat's place in the history of contemporary Arab art. I mean, is there an interest, has there been interest until now to put him, other than your own precious efforts, has there been other attempts at putting him on the map of not only Syrian, but Arab contemporary art?
I think the book of published by Skira and Salwa Megdadi was really one of a big attempt of this, but then I let Michel if he has.
I think Tshireen knows more about, can have more info about this, but I will go back to that book which I was behind since the beginning, and we tried to work with actually, yeah, I loved to work with Salwa. It was an amazing experience for me as well. We flew so many times to Beirut. Damascus was not possible for her, so we went to Beirut for her to meet my father again. Actually, funny coincidence, I need to tell this story, how I met Salwa Miqdadi. We met in Istanbul airport while catching a flight by accident. We were checking in. She was standing there, heard us speaking Arabic. She started talking to us in Arabic. And then I said, this is my name, Michel Zayat. She said, oh, there was a Zayat painter. I knew him from the 60s. I published a painting for him about the Palestinian cause. The Last Supper, big work. And I said, wow. And she showed me online herself, and then we met, we had a coffee, and then we were in contact ever since. Then when I moved to Dubai 15 years ago, we also met again and again and again, and we had many conversations about many things. So I actually insisted on working with Salwa on the book, and I brought Salwa and Skira together, and it was a success because the book is a really great book. And I think I agree with Mathilde. This is the cornerstone of that we will start from again, our next move. Skira, book, Sofia, then we'll see. I don't know. But I think Tshireen has something to say.
I think that I was invited by Mathaf to write a biography of Elias Zayat. And so I think he will be like part also of the encyclopedia of modern and contemporary Arab art. I think it's more modern Arab art. But I think there is like also institutions are having interest on his work thanks to all these projects.
Right.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah, can I just say it is difficult. I mean, it's a big question with multiple layers, you said, Michel?
Yes, layers. Everything's layers.
Your favorite word today and mine. I mean, in the absence of institutions in Syria, I mean, what makes an art scene, what makes an artist recognized on a national level, a regional level, or even an international level? You need institutions, you need an ecosystem, you need the researchers to work, you need the publishers to work, you need the galleries and the museums to work together and institutions to work together. And we really don't have that. I hate to say that it is not going to be easy, but it's doable. I mean, the book is a good start. The archive is another good start. Being included in the Mathaf's Encyclopedia for Modern Art is a good start, but that's not the end goal, Anna, for me, even though he's not my father, but I told you, for me, he symbolizes a lot more than that. And than the art, basically. For me, it symbolizes an identity. He talks my language when I talk about being Syrian. So really, it is each one of these building blocks is going to help us get there, but it's going to take time, and one of them is not going to be enough, I think. It really is going to be a concerted effort. Unless we understand his work on icons and understand his researcher mind, right, into the icons, we will not really know. I mean, I know, but my mom was walking in the old part of Homs, because we come from Homs back in the days, and there was a little shop, and she found two small icons, kind of discarded, and she took them and bought them for something minute because that was the price at the time. And she went up to Ammo Elias, and Ammo Elias has a plaque on the back of them now, who certified who each one of the icons was done by from the 18th and 19th century. This is a story I can tell you because it happened within my family, but I know there's a lot more. And he decided not to restore. So she took them to him, asking him if he would restore them. And he decided not to, because one of them had a silver crown around the head of the character. So it is really, he decided not to restore them. So really, unless we understand that element, unless we understand his interest in Palmyra and all the gods that abandoned it and what it signified for him and all the civilizations that came before and after Palmyra, because it's not just Palmyra. So he's, as he said, Zayat, Michel, he's multi-layered, but we need to understand each one of them. And unless we do that, I don't think we can take much, further. Again, I speak a lot. But you know what? It's very existential for me. You know, like what you do, Lubna, what you, Michel, are doing, what each one of these puzzles mean for the bigger picture is really existential. It's almost like on a personal level, I'm trying to figure out how, why, where, how did we get here, and why are we here, and what are we, But this is the generation that really laid the pavement for us to build on.
Actually, I want to add something to answer Mrs. Suzanne. In fact, we have a lot of problems and issues to deal with as a family, يعني to preserve the oeuvre of the artist. This was the first step that I believe Michel is doing, and many other families of artists are doing in Syria. So this is something new, but we have, in my mind, I have a lot of bigger issues. This is something, we have the physical archive and we are documenting. Then Atassi Foundation did the archiving, which was a next level. And this will make it more published and available for the world to see the oeuvre of of my father and Michel's father and other artists. One of the problem that I think it's a major problem, not only for me but for many families, is how to preserve the art for like the next 20 years or the next 50 years or many more years to come. People displace from one country to another. The works need restoration, need storage, good storage. So this is a real problem that makes the gap between us and the art in Europe and other countries abroad. We have so many challenges that we cannot find answers for. This is the responsibility of museums and institutions, universities. So we don't have this ترف شو بيقولوا.
We don't have that luxury.
Luxury, yes.
And this is why we all have to work
taking
together.
one step at a time.
Yeah,
we
this
don't
is why
know
we all have
what
to
will
work
be the
together.
next step, of course. Yeah.
So on the call, you'll find Firas Alwani, who's the son of Khuzaima Alwani, and he's finding similar problems. The family of Rida Hashas is also on the call, and they have similar problems. And I can't say that any of these issues and challenges you're facing are easy to muster, to address. But this is why we have to, we don't have the universities or the museums that are going to take us in and house us and support us and preserve us. So we have to do it ourselves. I mean,
it was a big challenge
sadly,
to convince the Faculty of Fine Art to give us a space to do a little event for his memory. It was the exchanging letters for weeks. It's just like that. We have to accept it. Where we come from is problematic in many managemental issues, which it doesn't cost anybody anything. It's just a way of thinking. I think if some, like I met the director of the Damascus Museum, Rima Khawam. What an amazing character. What an amazing person. She's very much enthusiastic. The enthusiasm is very high. And I told her I will be in contact next time I visit Damascus, and I will be. But with people like that, maybe in the future is possible. We need to gather something. Yeah.
I was going to say that there is like a new team since a few years at the Damascus Museum, and maybe all of you, family of artists, you should reach like the director or the curator to ask them, for example, to send you pictures and inventory of the artwork that are part of the collections, because for example, we don't have a record of which. I mean, I have a record, for example, for Mahmoud Hamad's work because Lubna sent it to me. But for example, for Zayat, I have maybe 10 7 works that I know that are part of the collection, but if we want to work, we are starting to have new institution in Syria, not new institution in Syria, but it's starting to wake up, to revival. So we need to also try to include the revival institution to do this work.
Quite challenging, huh? Very
Yes.
challenging.
We have
Seriously, very extremely challenging. It's everywhere. I always tell, I tell internally, I tell that my father left us a pile of dust with small diamonds inside that we need to find. It's not easy at all.
No,
Well,
and it's not
It will
easy.
be a nice journey.
We tip our hats all, really.
Thank you. Lubna is the master because started before us all. Lubna is the master. I don't know if Lubna remembers, we had a trip to Palmyra in 1979.
Of course.
Where I have a picture with Mahmoud Hamad on under the ark.
So please send it to me.
Yeah, it's actually sitting now in the studio in Damascus.
And you must have a lot of you showed the postcard from Zayat to Hamad, but your father told me once that he has a lot of letters from my father. So
yes.
Maybe he replied on this postcard, or he wrote a letter, or whatever.
And there are some official letters also. There are some official letters that Mahmoud Hamad wrote, and typed on the typewriter at the Faculty of Fine Arts. I found one.
Yeah. Yalla, let's gather the puzzle. Yeah.
In 1979, I was 6 years old.
Yes, you were much younger than me, if you want to say so.
No, this is not what I wanted to
say. Joking.
Thank you very much to everyone for being part of this super nice conversation. We will meet again next month, and we will meet with Christine Gédéon, which is an artist, and she will speak about the place of archival family of a personal archive in her work. We will show an extract for her film, and we will invite you all to follow the conversation with her and to see how artists are working with archive in their work for the next session. I think it's on Monday, 17th of November, but we will send you all the invitation. Tshireen, I don't know if you want to have the last word of the conversation.
No, I leave the last word to you, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. I'm really excited. Everyone is as excited as we are about the work that we do, because we kind of live in our own bubble thinking this is amazing, and we get excited about all these geeky things. But I think more and more we're finding that we're not alone, basically, and it's nice to know. So thank you so much for taking the time. And can I just say one more thing?
It's really nice to know that we are not alone. Sorry.
Yes. And I'm loving
we are not alone. That's a good one.
That's very good. They're very important. And also what I'm loving is how each of the sessions is, there's a lot of discussion after the sessions. And it becomes really enriching. So I've taken a lot of notes. I don't know if you've seen me write down, but I've taken a lot of notes because there are a lot of really important things that we take from each other. And I want to thank you for that.
Until next. Until next. See you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.